Wibwobbers, Robbett here. Today starts a 1-week crank event to celebrate the first anniversary of Yokai Watch Wibble Wobble. While the very last day of the Scramble event finishes up, we've got the previously exclusive Mimikins, Fruitnyans, and Libertnyan back in the crank. Most importantly, Blazion Awoken, the SS rank, has been added to the crank as well. Hopefully you've saved up a ton of Y money, otherwise there's also a sale on Y money if you're dying to get those crank exclusives. Two things that also slid into the release. For those of you who received Komajiro A via the Scramble event, you can now fuse Komajiro A and D to make Komajiro S. Also, and something we've been wondering about for a long time, there's now a way to access what's in the crank at any time. Prior to this, the only thing you could do to figure out what was in the crank was to call the filthy goat.
What up, Robbett?
What up, goat? Anything new in those coins?
Nope, still can't use those coins.
Click. Here, you can look at everything in the Y money crank, as well as the various coins. Now, before we get to that full to the brim crank, let's talk a little bit about Blazion Awoken. Frankly, he's the yokai we all hoped Spoilerina would be. He's an amazing attack booster, and he also gives some healing ability. Not only is he the best attack booster in the game, but he's brave, so he's optimal for weeks like we have right now where brave is strong in score attack. Okay, it's time to take that big pile of Y money, a fully maxed out non-event crank, and see what we can get. I've spent the most I've ever spent on the crank today, 900,000 Y money. Largely, this was because I never took the time to max out the Fruitnyans. Secondarily, however, it gave me a really good opportunity to explore how the pull rates change when you don't have a maxed out crank. There are a lot of comments on my videos asking what the rates are for a non-maxed crank, and I honestly never know. This time, I was able to gather stats both before I maxed out the B rank Fruitnyans and after. I did a massive 300 cranks to find out. As you can see, I was lucky and pulled Blazion Awoken on the very first crank. As you'd expect, however, I started pulling Fruitnyans like no one's business after that. Although there are no S ranks in the crank for me, it was super interesting to see that while B ranks were around, everything from Soul Secrets to the A ranks and Blazion Awoken were all in the 5.5% range. X-Borbs were in the 20% range, and A ranks were all in the 11 to 12% range. The exceptions were Ornyan and Qinyan, who I hadn't cranked as much against, given they weren't introduced until more recently, so their stats are artificially inflated. I did 167 cranks before the B ranks were maxed out. I then did another 133 cranks until I maxed out everyone except Watermelonyan and Blazion Awoken. Now that the B ranks were gone, you can see that the A ranks shot up, with Watermelonyan being artificially higher because his Soultimate level was so low compared to the others, as he was ultra rare during the first Terror time. Soul Secrets more than doubled, and unfortunately X-Borbs went up 2.5 times what they had been. The best news for everyone out there, however, is that Blazion Awoken stayed almost perfectly at the same rate. This means that irrespective of where your crank is at least if you have C and D ranks maxed out, you should have a pretty good 1 in 20 chance of pulling him. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to me on YouTube and Twitter for the latest Yokai Watch Wibble Wobble and Puni information. Until the next video, good luck with the crank.